Hi, Mark Pittman from fundraisingcoach.com here in a t-shirt to make a point. Usually as nonprofit CEOs, executive directors, and the chief fundraisers, we walk around with our nonprofit persona on. For me, it was a bow tie and button-down shirt. And I remember when I was running a nonprofit in a rural town in Maine, I began to wonder, what happens if people see me in a t-shirt? I go to the gym, I do some work around the house. What if I'm doing something and I go to the store and I run into my board chair or some other influencer in the community? Do I need to shower before I go out in public? And what I found was I didn't. I needed to be a human being. You see, people give to people. It's a truism in fundraising, but one of the ways that we forget that as nonprofit leaders is that we think we have to have our persona on all the time. We have to have our talking points and always be looking at how we can manipulate the conversation to our cause and do what we want people to do for us. Donors get bored of that, just like we get bored of that in our own personal relationships. So it's not about t-shirts or about suits. It's about one-sided versus multidimensional. Being human and being interesting. So here are two ways that you can be human or be interesting. One way may be having a unique hobby. Do you collect tin trains? Are you a foodie? Do you always read the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal? Anything can be quirky and different. For me, when I pastored a church, I made sure to blog about brewing my own beer. I wanted people to just get a flavor of I wasn't your stereotypical pastor. What would you want people to say if they said, wow, he's not our stereotypical fundraiser or she's not our stereotypical CEO? Think about that. The other thing is, much easier in some ways, is join a service organization. I know. You already work in a nonprofit. You already raise money on a 24/7 basis. Why in the world would you join the Chamber of Commerce, the Rotary Club, or Junior League, or Kiwanis, or some other service organization where a large part of your involvement and activity is raising funds for the community? For me, what I found is that people, when you're working together on a goal, you can start seeing your other people from different angles, and they get to see you from different angles. You begin to fill out the picture of who you are and who they are. What's great about that is you might discover passions and talents that you never knew your board chair or other people in your community had. And they might find you more interesting as well too. So when you get to the point of making your major gift solicitation, it may not be just would you give us a gift of $10,000 for the next 2 years, but it may be, remember that warehouse space you said you had open? Would you mind if, in addition, as part of your stewardship giving to our organization, you'd donate that space so that we could house and warehouse some of our stuff? Or it may be, the access to this particular person you said that you had, would, on behalf of supporting some of the work we're doing, would you be able to open that door and maybe sit with us in the meeting? It's much more interesting because you're looking at people and you're studying them in the context of helping them and making the community a better place in a different way. So whether you wear t-shirts or bow ties, remember to be interesting and to be human, because that's what your donors will find more compelling when you actually make the ask. If you're seeing this video on any place else other than fundraisingcoach.com, be sure to check out fundraisingcoach.com for a bunch of free tools, assessments, videos, all sorts of great stuff to help your nonprofit get the funding that it deserves.